Hello everyone, welcome to my new Doctor Who collection of 2024. So if you don't know, I really like Doctor Who and just all its kind of like stuff. I decided to make another collection update. I've done the collection in the past. I don't think that's up anymore. Of like what I had at the time, it was mostly just DVDs. I might have, the collection now is much bigger than it was when I first started it. Before we get started with all of this main timeline stuff, I do want to quickly show you my Target collection, which I've started collecting I think like a year or two ago. I can't remember exactly. I think the Stones of Blood might have been my first one. But yeah, let's get started. Okay, so we start off with the aforementioned Stones of Blood novelisation. I'm sorry about the glare there. This is the first one I've read. It was alright. I think most of especially the classic ones, I haven't actually seen these stories in person, so I don't know how faithful this thing is. It's alright. The courtroom stuff does slow the book down a bit, but yeah. I got these because look at those covers. Those covers are really cool, so yeah. You might have noticed that some of these are like more sunburned than others. I don't know why that's the case, but I think these two are a bit... I got these two for my birthday, so I don't know whether they changed the printing of them or not. Android Tatara. I think this one was better than Stones of Blood, to be honest. Again, the covers were great. It's also a bit thinner than the Stones of Blood, as you can tell, so a bit more easy to get through that book. I think I read that one on holiday, and that one I think, or was it that one on holiday and that one's just, I can't remember, but yeah, really good book. I think it's probably my favourite, the Key to Time stuff so far. I only got like these two are the Key to Time, but yeah. Then we have a new edition, I haven't read this yet, Revelation of Daleks. This was given to my brother. I haven't seen the original story, apparently it's pretty good, so hopefully that's a alright one. I've heard the Resurrection one isn't very good by Eric Saywood, so yeah. Then we got the new series ones, like with Fires of Pompeii. This one was okay. I think maybe I don't actually think I've seen the original story of this, to be honest, and yeah, maybe I should, but yeah, this novelisation's alright. Good cover again, so yeah. Then we have the Zygon Invasion, another new edition. I do like the original two-parter. I haven't seen it in years though, but yeah, again, another cover. It is like one of the newer ones because of the newer logo, which is looking pretty cool. And then the last one I've read, and the one that's in like this timeline. I've kind of like differentiate this. I kind of like made this separate from the rest of the stuff because I kind of like treat this as its own kind of like book timeline. So yeah. So then the final book we have is The Aegis of Light. I'm pretty sure I read that one on holiday. I wasn't too big. I remember watching the original story, and like there are other ones where, apart from Zygon Invasion, I haven't read that one yet. Where I wasn't too big of a fan of the story. I know it has like a classic writer who did it, but I wasn't too big of a fan. The novelisation's alright. I think I prefer it to the Stones of Blood. The Stones of Blood one feels really long for some reason. Is it as good as Android Tatara? Maybe. I don't know. Is it as good as Fires of Pompeii? I slightly prefer it. I think it's just, I don't know, maybe it's just because I don't remember a whole lot of this story, but maybe it just translates the book for more, so yeah, so that's just my Target collection. I have intentions to collect more and fill this whole shelf up, but this is just the ones I have so far. It's a bit annoying that these new editions don't really match up well with the old ones, but sunburnt ones. I don't know whether that's just they changed the format of them more or something, but yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of them. But yeah, so those are my Target novelisations, and now we're going to be talking about the the actual main event, my collection. So let's go and see. Okay, starting things off, we got the Beginnings box set, which I've watched all. I've pretty much watched most of it and listened to most of these stories, but I usually just watch them once, and that's basically it. But yeah, let's go through them. So we've got An Earthly Child, which is the first episode is fantastic. The rest, not so much. Kind of popular opinion where the first episode is the best. So yeah, The Daleks. I used to really like this one. It's a bit too long in my opinion. I think 5, maybe 6 parts is alright. 7 parts a bit excessive in my opinion. So I still like it. I think the first half's definitely great. So and The Edge of Destruction, nice little 2-parter. It's it's nothing amazing, but it's alright. Then we have season 2, the collection season 2. I got like a mixed match of DVDs and Blu-rays because I didn't know whether I was going to collect DVDs or Blu-rays, but I'm going with the Blu-rays now. So yeah, season 2. I've only watched a couple of episodes on this, and like the other seasons, so I've watched Planet of Giants. That's the underrated story in my opinion. I actually quite like that story. The Dalek Invasion of Earth, which I think that's actually, people say it's overrated. I think it's underrated or something. It's really good. I don't know why people don't actually like that story. I really like that. I think it's better than the original Daleks, and I'm not surprised it was made into like a film adaptation because of how it's shorter than Daleks, and you're going to like more locations, more and more. You're going from location. The pacing is better, basically. But that's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, and then The Rescue. That's alright. I don't remember a whole lot of stuff from it. I remember it was like quite a isolated kind of story, just to introduce Vicky, I think. So yeah. Apart from that, I haven't actually watched the rest, and maybe I should, but I'm kind of in between watching season 20 at the moment, so maybe. Then we have the thing that started my collection, the Macra Terror, which I really like. I think this might have been the first thing I got on DVD. I got it on holiday, and yeah, it's really cool. I don't notice that they edited it. They cut down episode 1 slightly, but it's not a big deal in my opinion. I feel like these animations aren't going to be 100% perfect, and I feel like maybe a bit of creative liberty should be alright. I'm not going to get these 2 out, but it's just in I think it's in the Mannequin Mania box set. So Sea of Death, really underrated story. I really like that one. Spearhead from Space, excellent. I think that's a 10 out of 10, one of the 10 out of 10 stories. I think it's just a really good introduction to like the 3rd Doctor era in my opinion. So yeah, I don't have the rest of season 7. I hope that gets a Blu-ray release sometime in the near future. I think it's more likely than the black and white stuff, to be honest. So yeah, anyway, let's continue on with season 8. Yeah, I feel like apart from season 10, these 2 this season and next season are a bit hit and miss for me. I don't know if it's just me or not, but yeah. I think Saudi Auton's underrated. Mind of Evil's alright. It does drag on a bit, but it's alright. Claws of Axos, I don't actually like that story. I think that story is just like not very good. Colony in Space is actually very underrated. Also fine. The Daemons is also overrated, so yeah, a bit of a mixed bag that season in my opinion. It's alright, but it's just not as good as people say it is, basically. Then we have the collection season 9, which I think this season starts off really well with like Day of the Daleks and stuff like that, but Day of Daleks, Curse of Peladon and the Sea Devils, I think those are like 3 really like solid stories. I think The Mutants is probably the worst story we've watched so far. It's just really boring, especially the middle part of it is really slow and dull and stuff, and yeah. And Time Monster's alright, just I feel like it's not taking itself seriously. It's just there really. So then we have my favourite Jon Pertwee season so far, unless I watch season 11 or season 7, but this is my favourite one so far. The Three Doctors, I know people don't really, there are flaws with it, but I really like it. Carnival of Monsters, that's an underrated gem, I think. That's really cool. No, excuse me. Colony, not Colony in Space, Frontier in Space. People, I don't think everyone will like it, but I really like it. It's quite a grand story and stuff. The ending is like a lot of talking in it, but I really like it. It's really cool. It's a really cool story. The ending is a bit confusing, but that's only because Roger Delgado died at the end of that story. Before it was finished, so it was a bit compromised, unfortunately. Planet of the Daleks is a bit of a repeat from the regular Daleks, but it's alright. I feel like it's pretty solid. And then the Green Death's like an underrated gem. Well, it's not underrated, it's a really good story. So, yeah, not a single story I don't like in this. I think Claws of Axos and Mutants are two stories I don't really like that much. And then I feel like most of these stories I think are quite solid. So, yeah, so got kind of the entirety of the Joe Grant, Roger Delgado era here, really. Apart from season 7 and season 11, which we got the Time Warrior here. Let's get this thing out. It's got the Time Warrior. Yeah, really good story. I watched this on my dying portable DVD player before it completely destroyed itself, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. I probably should watch that soon. I really like that story. It's been a while since I watched it, so yeah. Right, moving on to the Tom Baker era. There's a lot of stories I'm missing, but got a couple of them. I think what I'll do is that I'll do the Centauran Experiment, and then I'm just gonna move over slightly so you can see some of these ones better. So, yeah, Centauran Experiment. It's a harmless two-parter. Nothing more to say really. It's all right. I don't think it's fantastic or anything like that, but it does the job. I think I prefer the Time Warrior, but that's just me. Okay, we got the next story, and this is the only book in my collection that isn't like a Target book, but I decided to this here because it's like chronology. So we've got Scratchman, which I just finished reading. I think it was like last week where I read it, but yeah, really good book. This is kind of like, so basically it's kind of like this is kind of like an adaptation of a Lost Doctor Who movie. The first half's really creepy and the second half's just like crazy. So yeah, I do recommend that book. It's kind of like Tom Baker's swan song, because bless him, he doesn't really have. He's not getting on a bit now. So really recommend that book. Kind of surprised me in a couple of areas. So yeah. Then we've got Talons, which yeah, this story hasn't really aged very well, has it? Yeah, I've only watched it once and I found it a bit boring, to be honest. I know it's a bit unpopular opinion, but yeah, I don't think that story has aged all that well. I guess, if you like it, you like it, but I feel like, there's a certain elephant in the room where you do need to consider, so yeah. Invasion of Time. One of the worst Doctor Who stories I've watched, just awful. Oh god. Really, like sandwiched, excuse me for a second. So, yeah, this story's both just like rubbish, but also just, really boring at the same time. You can have really bad stories, but they're actually quite funny. Yeah, that one's just boring. You can't stand that one, so yeah, just like, I know people like it and stuff, but I can't. It's just rubbish in my opinion. Then we got in the collection season 18. I think this was like the first collection set I got, so it's been a bit of a while since I've watched the stories, but yeah. So we got Leisure Hive, which is a bit mediocre really. Meglos, which is also mediocre, probably worse than Leisure Hive maybe. Full Circles of Breath of Fresh Air. Sailor K is really good. Warriors Gate, I just can't understand it. I want to rewatch that story, but I don't know. I just got some Doctor Who stuff I haven't even seen yet, but I do want to give that story a second chance and try and understand it. But when I first watched it, just confusing. Keeper Traken, it's not as good as people say it is, but I feel like it's alright. Logopolis, the music of Logopolis is fantastic. The story itself doesn't really pick up until like the final part, in my opinion, but I do like the atmosphere in it. But yeah. Anyway, moving on to the Fifth Doctor. I actually have more Third Doctor than the Fourth Doctor, which is crazy. So yeah, then we got the collection season 19, which is yeah, it's a bit like season 18, isn't it? So we got Ash of Alba, which is alright. Force Doomsday, a bit dated in some aspects, but not as dated as Talons, but yeah, a little bit dated, but it's alright, I guess. Is it Kinder next? I think it is Kinder, but yeah, that story's alright. Visitation, that's a really underrated gem in my opinion. I really like that story. It might actually be my favourite story of the season, probably. So yeah, Black Orchid, it's yeah. People think it's a breath of fresh air. I think it's just a bit of a confused. It's a bit weird. I mean, it's alright. It's just like it's more just like a holiday episode for the cast, really, isn't it? Earthshock, great. I won't spoil it, but it's pretty cool. And Time Flight, which is not only problematic, but it's also just not a good story, is it? It's pretty. I think people know about Time Flight, so I won't reiterate. So, yeah. Right, then we got season 20, which this is the season I'm currently watching, and I'm watching this with my family, and we're like halfway through Arc Infinity, so can't really give my opinion on that just yet. But yeah, I mean, the Fifth Doctor era so far has been alright. I feel like some episodes are really cool, some episodes are kind of rubbish, but then we got, I'll take this out because it's kind of like another box set. So Resurrection, easily, if I get season 21 one day on the collection, then some of these DVDs will go eventually. Probably not the first Doctor ones because they're kind of like some legal member jumbo of them, but yeah. Resurrection, really good. Caves, excellent. I think it's it's probably my favourite Fifth Doctor story, probably. The Two Doctors, don't remember a whole lot about it. It was alright. Don't really have a lot of Sixth Doctor stuff, as you can tell. So, or Seventh Doctor either. But yeah. Then we got this pretty cool item, Sixth Doctor Last Adventure. Is this limited? I think it's limited, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I didn't actually know it was limited, but yeah. Sorry for moving the camera. Yeah, it was alright. End of the Line's probably the highlight. I don't remember like the middle two episodes, and like the finale was a little bit confusing, but it's nice to have. If I ever get Trial of Time Lord, this will slot right in between these two sets. So yeah. Then we got like a recent edition, which we're planning to watch this after finishing watching season 20. But yeah, we've got season 24, not a very highly loved season, but we'll watch that and give our opinions on it. Then we have Doctor Who the movie, which is people give it a lot of flack and stuff. I actually really like it. It's a bit corny in some areas and some stuff didn't make sense, and I think it was kind of easy to tell why it didn't do very well, but yeah, I like it. Maybe it was for the best, because there were some ideas they were going to do with a reboot, and some of those ideas were really terrible, so maybe it was a good thing that it never went forward, but yeah. Then we got this lone CD of the Silver Turk, which is I was expecting to like that one more. It was alright. I don't think it's as good as people say. I might need to watch that just to give my opinions on it. Then we got War Doctor Forged in Fire, I think, yeah. This is one of the only Big Finish stuff I've actually never listened to. I probably should. They had to recast John Hurt because, you know, he passed away unfortunately, but yeah. Then we got probably my favourite range, the Ninth Doctor. Now this first box set, Ravages, I don't really like that much. Like, the Spear of Freedom's alright. I don't remember the last two, so maybe that needs a bit of a rewatch, but re-listen rather, but yeah, I don't think it's as good as people say it is, but however, the reason why I'm continuing the set is this one right here. This set, Respond to All Calls, is actually really good, so Girl Deconstructed is excellent, I really like that story. Fright Motif is excellent as well, and Planet of the End, which I don't think it's very good, but I think it's interesting. Let's just say it like that. I don't think it's worthless like Time Flight or something, but I don't know. It's interesting. I just don't think it's fantastic. I don't think so. Yeah. Then I would have my Ninth Doctor comic here, but it doesn't fit on my shelf, so we'll just go through these CDs of the 10th Doctor. These ones are quite odd. I think these are like the first Big Finish I got. No Place, really good, rest in peace, the Cribbins, but yeah, that story's alright. Probably might be my favourite, I'm not too sure. This one might need a bit of a re-listen, 1 Mile Down. I think this is probably the weakest out of all of them, probably, so yeah, that needs a bit of a re-listen. Then we have the final one on the shelf. The Creeping Death, which I really liked. I need to rewatch that one again. I think, you know, I got these back in, I think it was 2019 or something, I can't remember, but it's been a while since I've listened to these, so yeah. Just got a couple of Doctor Who stickers which I put on recently, so that's pretty cool. So yeah, let's move down to the final shelf and then I'll just conclude the video. Alright then, so on to the final shelf. There isn't much on here. I do intend to get more stuff in the future, but yeah, so this is what I got so far. It's mostly comic stuff, so yeah, okay, that's a bit of a pain to get out. So let's just get these out. Got the Weapons of Mass Destruction. I haven't actually read this yet. Again, this was supposed to be there, but I didn't have enough space, so yeah, I haven't read this. I really want to read this because the art looks incredible, that does. Look at that. Really good art, I think, so where should I put this? I'll just put this here. I'll sort that out afterwards. Yeah, I haven't read that. I do want to read it and maybe get the entire range. I think the Ninth Doctor stuff's really strong in my opinion, just like the multimedia stuff's like really strong. I don't know about other people, but I think it's really good. Then I got my first Doctor Who comic, Afterlife. Really good kind of art. I think most of these stories are really good in here. I wasn't really a big fan of the final one, that kind of put me off a little bit, but I might get the rest of that eventually, but yeah, for now I don't really know. And then we got this one, which I got as a gift. I don't actually ask for this, but yeah, here's Liberation Daleks. Also, I don't know if you can tell, but there's like a, I think this is like a PNG or something. I don't know if you can tell from this angle, but it's like a Square and Doctor Who logo. It looks like they just like plopped it on there, which isn't great. But yeah, so this is from this came out before, well, these stories came out before, this story came out before, I think it was the Star Beast. So this is like the only 14th Doctor stuff I have. You know, I might get new series, Blu-rays and stuff eventually. I just want to focus on the classic stuff right now, but yeah, not a huge fan of this, to be perfectly honest. I really like the beginning. The middle's interesting, and then the ending's just a bit rushed, in my opinion. Which, you know, this was published in Doctor Who magazine. You had to rush through it because I think this took like 12 months to complete or something like that. So quite a long time, but yeah, I think. Granted, I was rushing towards the end for a reason because I didn't know whether I was going to actually finish the story in time, so I had to like rush through it. So I don't know whether that would have negatively affected my opinion on it or not, but yeah. Then we got like the final Doctor Who kind of book slash I got like these figures and stuff, but they're not really worth mentioning. Those are stickers, it's like these stickers right here, and that's the 2005 TARDIS. Don't know why. I had that for years. Like most of these stuff, I got that Doctor Who experience when that's still open. Most of these stuff got years and years. So, and this thing as well, the Doctor Who Vault book. Pretty much my introduction to. I didn't really know a whole lot about Classic Who until I read this, and this is just excellent. This is the book that kind of like spurred me on to get most of this stuff. So yeah, really good. I don't know. I think it's probably quite expensive because it's quite a chunky kind of book. But yeah, if you get that for a good price, because it's good. It only goes up. It says the first 50 years, so it only really goes up to. I think it's the Name of the Doctor or something. Is before Day of the Doctor. So it's, you know, maybe. You know, if someone wants to reprint that, I wouldn't be opposed to it. So yeah. But yeah, that's the end of my collection. Hope you enjoyed it. I do have some stuff coming through in the mail soon. Like, I got the first box set of the Ninth Doctor coming in the near future, and I got like a Target, especially non-fiction Target book that will be down here. But yeah, so that's kind of the end of the video now. Macra doesn't exist basically, so but yeah, so I'll see you guys next time. Don't know when. I'll do another collection video, but you know, hopefully in the near future. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.